Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson contained in the Johnson edition. We turn now to the poem 355, "'Tis Opposites Entice," and immediately we're going to find ourselves back in poem 67, "Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed," 135 and 313. The idea that polar opposites somehow help Emily to define things. In this poem, it will be the longing for attention or love. Many have seen this as another Sue poem. Sue may be the opposite of Emily in so many ways. Emily longing to be considered divinity by Sue. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've worked through our set of introductory comments. Obviously, we had to talk about Sue, the wife of her brother, and obviously a potential lover for Emily. Certainly a close pal, no doubt. I'm hopeful as well that you've already worked through the preceding 354 poems. We just finished with 354 from Cocoon, Fourth Butterfly. And if you have, then this poem will not seem unusual to you at all. However, let's say it one more time. There is this longing tone that we will often equate in these poems of Emily, where she is just begging for some kind of, attention, we might say? She says it this way. "'Tis opposites entice, deformed men ponder grace, bright fires the blanketless, the lost day's face. The blind esteem it to be enough estate to see, the captive strangles new, for deeming beggars play, to lack enamor thee, though the divinity be only me." Now, I said a longing tone. Some have read this as more a friendly, jocular tone, because she's speaking with someone in the form of Sue, for example, who will know the point of reference here. In other words, dude, can I at least throw me a bone here? At least a few minutes of your time could be the way this could be read. She'll begin, of course, with the idea of opposites, and we've seen this already, as we said, in poems 67, 135, 313, and others as well. Entice will take us back to 297. In other words, that which is really interesting. We always want the thing we cannot have, as they sometimes say. And then she just goes through all kinds of interesting juxtapositions. For example, deformed men. It's interesting she uses the word deformed. Ponder grace. It's a powerful line, because it isn't completely clear. She's talking about physically deformity or spiritual deformity here. The longing for acceptance or grace. We immediately, of course, think of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and how the monster longs for some kind of acceptance. In this case, it's an easy read. Bright fires, of course, is what the blanketless long for, that those who are without comfort or warmth. The lost are always longing for the face of day. And then, of course, the blind, who cannot see, esteem it enough estate that they could just see. In other words, all we want is the thing we cannot have. Now, the next two lines are difficult to understand or read. The captive strangles new. It's possible here that what she's saying is that the captive, anyone imprisoned, is maybe choked or strangled by the longing or the desire for some life outside of prison walls. For deeming, and here maybe this is deeming here could mean the longing for attention, beggars play. In other words, just to be seen as somebody. And then she'll finish, to lack enamor thee. She's hopeful that her, whoever she's speaking to, Sue or whoever, that the lack of that individual will translate into its opposite, the longing for that individual. And then she'll finish, though the divinity, and we've seen her use this word divinity a number of times, be only me. I think the key word of the entire poem is the word only. It's only your Emily. Please, would you just give me some attention? Now, notice the way in which we often will read a poem like this, and we just assume that Emily is talking about herself. There's no necessary reason to believe that, other than the fact that Emily writes these poems, sometimes shares these poems, and then, of course, they will be published later. But I think in 2A we can draw the clear message, the clear theme, that it is difficult to not be with the one that you long to be with and that you wish would just give you a small amount of attention. At 2b, I love her use of opposites here. Deformed is a powerful word. At 3a, we mentioned those poems already, 67, 135, 313. But I want to come back to our study of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the way in which that novel, and we've given full lectures about it at learnstrong.net, but that novel so much deals with the challenges of opposites. Finally, at 3b, a way to own a poem like this. What was a time when you longed for someone to see you and they just never would? Thank you.